Okay, good evening everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday Live at 5 here at Old Town Quilt Shop in Orchid, California. I'm Stacy, and here is where we are located. So if you are lucky enough to be here on the central coast of California, this is our address and our current hours. So Monday 3 to 7, Tuesday through Friday 10 to 5, and Saturdays 10 to 4. If you can't visit us in person, you can visit us online anytime. We have almost every single product in the shop is online, so you can order it there. Or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always send us an email or give us a phone call. Okay, so we are in full shop tour mode right now. We have no idea how crazy it is today and tomorrow. So it is the time of year where we have the shop hop. If you are not familiar with that, where have you been? So it's this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. From Friday and Saturday, it's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday it's 10 to 4, and those are the hours for all shops in the shop hop. So regardless of what their hours say on their website, these are the hours for the shop tour. So those are shopping hours and those are stamping hours as well. So what does that mean? You get a little passport and you go to each shop and you get your passport stamped and you win fun stuff. So that's those details. There's a few more details about passports, but if you didn't get your premium passports, then have no fear. There's still free passports available when you start the shop hop. And here is the map. So we have all the way from up in Paso Robles down to Ventura. There are 10 different shops. We're right smack in the middle of it. So hopefully you have made your game plan of where you're starting, where you're ending, and who all you're going to visit. Hopefully you're going to visit all 10, but even if you don't visit all 10, visit, one or two. You can enter the drawing for the daily prize basket. That's every single day. Get your passport stamped, meet some new people, check out some cool fabric. Maybe you find a notion that you never knew you needed before. Who knows? All right, so that is this weekend. So be sure to come. Alrighty, let's see what new fabrics we got in. So we have Candy Couture from Andover. Now, if you are familiar with Mac Cox, she is a YouTuber. She does a lot on YouTube. She's a fabric designer. She is a pattern designer. She is just an amazing human being. But she has created these ombre fabrics. Now, we only got this colorway in yardage. So this goes purple, pink, red, orange, yellow, orange, red, pink, purple. And they're very short, so they're, it's a short graduation of that ombre. So in just a small piece, you get all those colors rather than all the dark or all the medium or all the light. So it's kind of, really cool. And she actually made some shoes out of her cool fabric. It was really neat. So you got all the colorway in there. So this is going to be really fun to use in a project. But what we also got were the 2.5-inch strips. So this includes several strips of each of the different colorways of her ombre. So these are actually going to be really cool to use. So if you have a pattern that uses a jelly roll, 2.5-inch strips, this is going to be so much fun because it's going to look like you actually have a whole bunch of different fabrics in there, because look at all these colors that come in there. It's amazing. So we really can't wait to kind of open this up and take a look at it and see what we can do with it. See what you can do with it. So that is Candy Couture by Andover. Alrighty. Then we have Color My World, because we love color here. So these are definitely more of a kid type, kind of a fabric. So these are like crayons, wavy if you're making a little rainbow. So you've got that kind of waxy look on there. And then we have just kid icons. So you got trees and kites and spirals and stars. You got a little dog, you got a couple of little kids on there, you got animals, rainbows, of course, planets, scribbles all over the place. So it's like someone's little doodle pad that they've done with their crayons. It's kind of cute, and it's on a light blue background. And then we have the handprints, so like they've taken their hands and just gone burp right on that white fabric. So all different sizes and colors in there. And scribbles, like your 2-year-old took a marker and all over the place. So a lot of fun. I mean, these will make some really cute kid quilts. Also, if you're looking ahead, I know kids are just getting out of school right now, but if you're looking ahead to September when they go back to school again, pencil cases, notebook covers, backpacks, if you're a By Annie or other, bag pattern enthusiast, these would make a lot of fun little projects with these. So that one is called Color My World from Blank Quilting. And we also received from that same collection this book panel, and it's alphabets. So it's ABC with me. So you've got the scribbles on the back, and then the cover is the ABC with me, and then each of the pages has at least 2 or sometimes 3 letters on them with the different words and then some of the icons. So you don't have to do this as a book. You could do it, you could cut them up into the little panels and do like a 3-yard quilt type of thing with it if you wanted to, but the books are super duper easy. There's instructions on the bottom of the panel on how to put that together. All you need is a few pieces of batting. It's very, very simple. You can do it in an hour. I promise you an hour. Okay, 2. But they're very, very simple. So this is a cute little book panel. So if you've got some babies or toddlers coming into your life, then this would be a really great little project to do with them. And this is a 1-yard panel, so it's the same 1480 for the panel as the fabric is. And you really don't even need any other fabric to go with it because it's kind of an all-in-one type of deal. So unless you're going to make a quilt out of it, then the panel would be all that you would need, plus some scraps of some batting. A fun little gift. Okay, and then we'll talk school. Now we're going to talk Christmas, because this is the time of year when our Christmas starts rolling in, right when it gets hot. So we have Snowflake Lake. We forgot the word lake, but it's Snowflake Lake on here. So we have the Fat Quarter bundle of all the pretty colors in the collection. So all the blues, none of which we got. We only got the white. But, this would be a fun if you don't like the traditional Christmas quilt and maybe you just want like a winter quilt that will last into January and maybe even February, depending on where you live. This would be a really good collection to use with the Fat Quarters. And then, for the actual fabric, we got the kind of light blue snowflakes on a white background. There's a little bit of teal in there. So a couple different shades of blue. So lots of things that you could pair it with. Silver is always a really good thing to pair the blue with. The blue and silver is kind of a classic wintry look. So that is Snowflake Lake by Andover. And this has 8 Fat Quarters in it, in case you were keeping count. But there's 8 in there. Okay, and then we have Buon Natale, so that's Italian. Again, it's Christmas, so I'm going to open up this fabric because it is a border print. So if you're looking at the yardage, each selvage is the houses, and then the whole rest of the middle of it is the red with the snowflakes and the dots on it. So this is a really cool thing. You could make a fun Christmas skirt. You could make a tree skirt out of this. This would be a really good tablecloth. You pretty much just need to hem the edges, and you've got an instant tablecloth. The red goes in the middle, the houses hang down, chair covers, placemats, lots of fun things that you can do with this one. And then to go with it, we have this kind of, it's a little creamier, it's not quite white, with the little red dots on there. And then we have the red with the kind of star flowers on there as well. It's little stars and then the bigger stars with kind of the leaves underneath it. And these are a pretty good Christmas red. They're not super bright. Okay. So the other thing that you can do with that is this, it's called the Christmas Village Runner, but you can see here how that border print just runs right on there. And we have one of these in the works. It may or may not be done for Friday, at least the top. So you use the border print for the top and bottom, and then you use the white for this background here, and the red that's in the middle of these houses is what your stars come from. So there's not a whole lot of waste on that. And then also your binding comes from those center pieces of that runner. So it's a really, easy way to use this border print. And it's kind of, ingenious actually about using all those houses. So it's really cute. And we got the red colorway only, not the green. But if you found some other fun green and you wanted to use that, you certainly could. But that is Christmas Village Runner for use with the Buon Natale fabric. And it finishes at 29.5 by 70.5. So it's not a small runner by any means, but you could shorten it, just do fewer stars. Okay, so that is all we have for fabric. We also, just a real quick rundown of upcoming classes again. So don't forget that we do 2 open sews every single month. And these are open to everyone. So usually we try and do a Tuesday and a Thursday. However, I think this one is a Friday and this one is a Tuesday. I'm not entirely sure on the 24th, but we try and do 2 a month. So it gives an opportunity for absolutely anyone and everyone to come in and sew. Right now there is no signups needed. You can just come, just bring your machine and everything, set up in the classroom and sew for the day, maybe meet someone new. And then we have the elemental coat. So if you have a quilt that you want to cut up into and make into a jacket, you can do that. Or if you're a super fast sewist and you want to make some panels for the jacket, then you can do that. But that's coming up here in a couple of weeks in June. And that's a 2-day class. And then newly added is the travel case for the mini iron, and that's going to be Saturday, July 19th. Now we are in the process of getting patterns, so I think we have like 1 in the shop right now, but I know some of you already have them and been wanting the class, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So that is Saturday, July 19th. And then, of course, we have washi tape. So this is the 5-year anniversary for that quilt. That was in the quilt sampler that we were featured in, and this was the quilt that Susan McDermott designed for us for that. So we're going to go ahead and teach that. If you have the kit already, fantastic. You can bring your kit. You're halfway there. If not, we have the magazine for sale that the pattern was in. We do have a couple of kits here in the class, but really it's picking 7 Kaffe fabrics and 7 grunge fabrics if you want to do it like ours, or pick 14 other fabrics that sing to your heart. Okay, so that is all. So once again, this weekend is hats off to the Central Coast. So expect us to be in our cowboy quilt roundup finest. So we'll all be wearing cowboy hats because our theme is quilt roundup. Well, we'll all be wearing hats that have a cowboy theme to them, let's say that.
It's too hard to work with those brands.
Yeah, the cowboy hats, they might fall off. So anyways, don't forget to come and visit us this weekend. It's going to be a fabulous time. We really have a lot of fun with it. Yes, it can be a little crazy and a little wild, but you know what? It's just, I don't know, just the energy of it is really great. So we really hope that we can see you this weekend. Otherwise, we will see you next Wednesday. Have a great week.